7. San Diego. Washington right now is at 6. I'd say really get to is the point where you have 10 wins. That's where you're going to be known as I made the playoffs. And we welcome you again.
Greetings, everyone. Glad to have you with us on this Wednesday night edition of the NBA on 2K Sports with Greg Anthony and Hall of Famer Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan, and we're pleased to have on the sidelines tonight David Aldridge. And a chance now to see how teams are faring across the league. Here's the latest edition of the Power Rankings. They're holding tight, still looking for ways to move up.
And with where Washington is, they're sort of cemented in this spot right now. Playing decent basketball, but not quite well enough to make up any ground and get into that next tier.
And now Washington's starting group. Maverick out there with the eraser. Then it's Junior.
It's going to be Scott Lee, Aaron Simmons, Mia Ross, Brandon Lopez, and the one and only Rick Tridden Jr. And then for Seattle, you got Jordan Smith, San Antonio Knight, Marvin Young, David White, and Nick Tridden Jr. as we approach.
That being said, Greg, what kind of role players do you look for?
You know, Kevin, it starts on your best player, and I think you go
Scott Lee for 3.
And then you got to factor in versatility. You need guys that can guard multiple positions, that give you some rim protection, obviously that can also shoot the basketball. And I think it's critical having that instant offense guy coming off the bench as well. So when your team's in a bit of a funk, somebody you can trust by fire.
And Washington has possession. Seattle able to drain the 3. Outside, White. Pass to Knight. Over Simmons, and there's Knight. That's good on the assist by White.
Well, the versatility he possesses makes him a very tough cover, guys.
Simmons passes to Lee. Trains it from beyond the arc. Lee's got 6 points.
And that's exactly what he's looking for, draining the triple.
Smith on the wing. Back to Young. Pass to White. Knight kicks to White. Here's the 3. And Lee pulls it down. For Washington, they've gone 2 of 3 here to start off the game. Overnight. Lee, that's good. He's got 8.
Good way to start this game. You want to get him rolling as early as possible.
He's a guy. If he gets hot, he can carry your offense.
Zaha, Rick Tridden Jr. Brothers.
Ross with a wide open look. And again, Washington with the triple.
This is as pure a shooter as there is. You've got to stay connected or it's a problem.
About 2 minutes played here in the first quarter. That's tonight. And on the way.
We are the 2 youngest Triddens going at it. There you go.
Well, that 3-point shot just gives you so much room to operate on the offense.
Simmons behind the back on the drive finds Lee out and nice job by Rick Tridden Jr.
And the lack of effort to fight over the screen there makes that an easy shot.
You know, we see this all the time. Your basically as a defender, hoping the man misses rather than putting in the work to get over screens.
Some nice ball movement here by Seattle. Lopez against Knight. Look loose. Lopez with the steal.
Yeah, Seattle really is struggling to get any rhythm going this season. I don't think we'll see them in the playoffs
Another one
this year.
falls for Washington.
And look at how quick he was to bite on the pump fake. Left his feet way too soon.
The pass to Smith. Back to Young. Shoots for three.
Young finds Marvin Young for three. Marvin Young is doing it at a high level as we will approach the approach of time. Back in 30 minutes, I would believe.
Some changes for Seattle. Nice check in for Junior. Carter comes in for White, and it's Snow in for Knight. And then for Washington, Flash is checked in for Junior. Mr. Fundamentals comes in for the eraser, and it's D in for Ross. And first quarter, we're about 3.5 minutes in. Now here's Simmons from the arc. The rebound by Young. Here's Knight. He dishes it to Young. Back to Smith. Carter outside. 5 to shoot. Smith finds Carter. On T. That one's off. He starts the game with a miss. Washington leading now by 4. In the corner, Simmons with it. And it's Seattle with the rebound.
Rough game defensively. I mean, they lost a lot of the individual matchups, and the help was slow to rotate.
I'll tell you this, if you're going to allow your opponent to make that many shots, you have got to be as solid on the offensive end, and clearly they were not.
Oh, great ball movement there.
And here's Young. He'll bring it up for Seattle. This their first look at this year's Washington squad.
Yeah, and they swept this matchup the 2 times they played last year. They held the advantage on paper and on the court.
Well, a year ago there was a big gap in talent between the two teams, but changes are always made, and we'll see how they match up this time around.
Here's Lopez. The basket good off the assist from Simmons.
And their offense already in a flow. Some stellar shooting to jump out to this game.
Young drives in. Yes, that goes in. Young's got 5.
So far, both teams scorching the nets. You gotta love it.
Well, you love it when you can get off to a fast start offensively. You hate it, though, when your opponent does the same.
Now here's Lee. He's got 8. Got a piece of it. And stolen by Knight. Shoots from the elbow. And Seattle with another.
And that's such good work to make this a one-possession game to steal to get it all started.
Simmons a screen on Young. Lee outside. And again, Washington with the triple.
It just seems like the more he touches it, the more the lead grows.
Seattle. And Washington making a change. Let's have a look at the league's top scorers for the past month. To say these guys have been hot is an understatement. And look at Simmons, third in the league. He typically dominates out there. He can seemingly score at will.
What a performance offensively. Something has really clicked with his game over this stretch.
From outside the arc. Young, no good.
Got a good look using the screen, but just couldn't finish.
Created all the necessary separation. That was a crafty move. I'd get back to that set one more time. You have to have the vision to find the open man. Beautiful pass.
Pass in the corner. And he gets the whistle. 2 free throws coming up. Greg, how hard is it to maintain focus this time of year when you know you're on a championship contending team?
You know, some of that I think depends on the leadership you have in your locker room. Certain guys just keep everybody engaged and motivated. And you know what? You've got to break the season down into chapters to help yourself with the motivation, because sometimes that season can be so long and it's hard to stay focused in the present when you start thinking about the postseason.
He misses the free throw. And the second free throw, good. We've got 1:48 left here in the opening quarter. Here's McCall. On deep. And again, Washington with the triple.
And if you look at this first half, overall, they just had the better shot selection.
And I think obviously we see the execution and the willingness to make the next pass so important.
It's deflected. 1:16 left here in the first quarter. They set the pick. From 12 feet out, another one falls for Washington.
Defensively, giving up far too many open rhythm looks.
Young pass tonight. Carter outside. Some nice ball movement here by Seattle. 6 on the shot clock. Score the basket. Nice shot after missing his first attempt. Washington leading now by 9. Pass to Murphy. Here's Weston. And Wagner pulls it down. For Seattle, they've gone 8 of 14 from the field in the first quarter. Hart is blocked. Oh, the lob from Simmons. And Simmons slams it in.
Building up a big early lead, they have taken charge of this game.
And they've been doing it largely at the offensive end. If the defense does not adjust, this could be a blowout.
That's good from Simmons. Outside Knight. Pass to Vincent. A Green. No good that time. And so it's Washington. Up by a dozen here at the end of the quarter. And their ability to get points in the paint has made all the difference in this one. Right back after this break. Second quarter of action. Plenty of basketball left to play, but this one has been one-sided so far. And a moment take a look at the scoring approach in terms of where the points are coming from for Washington.
They definitely had a hot hand from three-point range. Always nice to get off to a good start.
Yeah, we've seen them burying their fair share of mid-range jumpers tonight, too. A good first half for them in that department.
Seattle trails by 12. So on the floor for Washington, the eraser is out there with Junior. It's Mr. Fundamentals. And it's Cool Hands. And it's Ross in at the 2 spot. Wagner, good.
And despite the hot start from beyond, they've gotten away from shooting the triple.
Nine against Lee. For 3, Ross hits it from three-point range. Ross has got 6.
They've given up a lot of three-pointers here today.
And Seattle shooting an efficient 53% from the field. Smith against Lopez. And then Smith with the dunk.
Making the most of the screen. That's college stuff.
And it's in the perfect spot, Greg. Frees him up to get all the way to the bucket.
Where was the defense? No fighting through the pick, no rotation. My goodness.
And those are starting to add up, guys. Of their last 5 baskets, 3 have been triple.
The pass to Wagner. Height on the wing, covered by Lee.
Forget about going for the long-range bomb to cut into that lead. Just take it to the hoop, my friend.
And how? Brilliant throwdown. Now here's Lee. 11 points in the game. Buries the long-range jumper.
He's found his rhythm from deep, and you can see the confidence.
And I think the defender knows once he gets cooking, look out. The bucket looks awfully big to him right now.
We come at us, and we're coming right back at you.
And you would expect nothing less from these two, taking pride and making plays.
Now here's Ross. He's got 9. And it's Junior missing.
Well, they'll be happy with that look, even though it didn't fall.
I think expect them to go back to it because that's the kind of shot this offense is designed to generate.
Here's White. A 12-point game. Here's Knight. Gets the front of the rim and out. Lopez passes to Ross. Here's Lee. It's good. Now he's shooting 6 for 7.
And with the lead, I like the strategy here. Continue to get the ball to guys who can do something with it.
One thing we've learned in the NBA, the game is never over. So you've got to continue to score, continue to build your lead.
Substitution in for Seattle. Ice checked in for Junior. Carter comes in for White. Snow is checked in for Big Red. Young is subbed in for Knight. And then for Washington, Flash is checked in for Junior. And it's D in for Lopez. Here in the second quarter, we've played a little over 2.5 minutes now. Young outside. Passes it to Carter. Pocket 6. Lopez with the block. And he's able to get it back. A shot by Knight, no good.
And that's the battle they haven't been winning today. Their work on on the glass has been porous, and that's got to change.
Lee outside. That shot was a good defensive work there by Young. Pass to Cook. And it's blocked, and he keeps control of the ball. Pass to Weston. Lee, a screen on Smith. There's the pass to Lee. And oh boy, a lot of contact there, but he gets the call and will shoot two. Greg, when you were in New York, you were on a super team of sorts. Compare that to the super teams they're forming now in the NBA.
We've always had super teams, and this misnomer that this is something that's just come about with this era, it is, to me, absurd. You've always had it. When the difference nowadays is I think the players have more say in where they go, and they can orchestrate how a team is constructed. But it's always existed, and the reality is that you become a super team when you win a lot.
Sure.
And that's what really dictates how super your team is.
Good for Lee.
The way he's shooting free throws tonight, you simply don't want to put him there.
Bounce pass, Young. Unloads from 13. But he gets it back. Passes it to Romero. Some nice ball movement here by Seattle. He lobs up the alley pass. And Smith with the stop.
Strong move to the 10, trying to get his guys going.
Hard not to get motivated, G. Right when your teammate makes that kind of play.
Where was the defense? No help. You can't afford to give up these kinds of buckets.
And Seattle making a change here. Knight's checked in. And a switcher also for Washington. Simmons checked in for Lee. And Smith, no good on that one.
And they've only got a slight edge on the boards, but it just feels a lot bigger.
McCaw, the pass to Mercer. Over Carter. He can't get it to go. Seattle goes the other way with it. Fires the three. Good on the triple. Carter's got 6.
Listen, even average three-point shooters are going to make that shot. Defense must be better.
Pass to Mercer. Over Carter. Trains it from 17 feet out. And Washington leads by 13. And so it's Young who brings it up for Seattle. Smith the pass tonight. Got a hand on it, and he recovers it. And that one, good. Washington leading now by 11. And the pass to Mercer. Here's McCall. 5 points in the game. And a wide open look for Simmons. A three-pointer, no good. Young taking his time here. And foul on the shot, so he'll get a chance at the line.
Way to attack there and then create the contact.
For Seattle, they have made 1 of 3 free throws in the game.
And as a team, excellent. A season ago, about 80% when they got to the line. Super 2.
And that one falls for Young. Both shots good from the front. Here's McCall. job, Simmons. Seattle goes the other way with it. Okay, well, let's check in with David Aldridge, who's reporting from the sideline.
Kevin, thank you. Now, we have seen continued growth with the NBA's affiliated leagues the last few years. About the explosion and popularity of the WNBA, basketball Africa, expansion of the 2K League, greater pay in the WNBA, and the G League pathway, along with the unionization of G League players. The league continues to show its commitment to expanding opportunities on multiple levels. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, David. Let's have a look at the 2K leaderboard to find out who have been the most efficient scorers in the NBA this month. Well, you look at Young, a great player, second in the league.
It would be hard to imagine him shooting the ball much better than he has. He has been on fire.
Here's McCall, 5 points in the game. And here's Simmons for three. It's good from long range. Simmons got 11 points.
It works well there. Not much resistance from the D.
It takes incredible effort to stay connected to the hip of the offensive player. You've got to want to work.
Here's Junior, and that'll be 2 free throws coming up. Officials on the call at the top. Greg, did you know when you were playing that you'd eventually want to call games, be in the broadcast table?
Kevin, no idea. I didn't have any clue, and quite honestly, didn't really think that there was a career that one could have in terms of broadcasting. You know, because cable was just kind of coming on as I was retiring. We didn't have your own network and the things that we take for granted now. So looking back on it, no, but boy, am I glad I did.
I am glad you did too. You probably don't remember this. Doc Rivers and I were doing a game. You came over to say hi to the two of us. Went back out on the floor. Doc nudges me and said he'll be great in TV. We saw it then.
He's a good mind. Man knows what he's talking about.
White is checked in for Cook. And then for Washington, Junior comes in for Flash. And Lee subbed in for McCall. Good on ball.
This is what makes him a challenge to stop. He will beat you from the floor, and he can also beat you from the line.
Pass to Simmons from past the arc. And again, Washington with the triple.
Assists like that have typified their effort today. Terrific ball movement.
On outside. Passes it to Junior. Jackson coming off the assist from Young. Young's got 3 assists tonight.
And big men who can shoot really changes the dynamic of your offense.
It's almost gotten to the point where you have to be able to hit that face-up jumper nowadays. Very few exceptions to that rule.
Man, the triples keep falling, guys. That's 3 in a row.
It's White on the wing. Now, here's Junior. Defense right on him. Good.
And I like the fact that he really was unfazed by that scoreless first quarter. And now you can see him getting into it.
Junior sets the screen for Lee. Gets the three-pointer to fall. Lee's got 21 in the game.
12 straight points off of 3-pointers. And the D shifts.
Young pass to Junior. There's the triple. And another 3 for Seattle.
And guys getting into a nice groove here. Starting to feel it.
And this this is partly what the game has become, right? A matter of tooling three-point opportunities.
And he gets the bucket.
And I've been impressed with the unselfishness, but also getting guys the ball where they can do something with it.
And he has shown a terrific feel for how the defense is playing him, and they're taking advantage of that.
And once he got up in the air and just decided, you know what, I'm going to stay here for a while. I'm going to hit you with one more blow. Load on. And takes him down.
Mention the floaters on this. Absolutely good reference. And so it's Washington going into the break with a 10-point lead. Shooting the ball so well in this one. A great performance from the field. We'll take a quick break and then back to the action here. It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, folks. Ernie Johnson here with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. It's the NBA on 2K Sports, and let's talk first half. Well, for Washington, Shaq, let's get your insight on the visiting team.
You have to love how they're using their heads. Good ball movement, smart shots. Look, it's been a disciplined performance. Coaching staff has to be thrilled.
How about you, Kenny? What did you think about this home team?
Well, it's hard to defend a team that gets red hot from the floor. I think the effort was there on D, but they could not come up with a plan to cool them off. We're bound to see a whole different game plan, a whole different approach from them coming out of the break.
And that's going to do it for our halftime show, sadly. Third quarter about to start. See you again after the final.
On. Oh, fuck.
And we've got third quarter basketball for you. 2 quarters in the books. What can you say? Lee, an impressive effort here today.
And if he can keep shooting from deep like he did in the first half, he's going to be more than a handful.
What I love is they continue to be this guy, ride the hot hand until the defense does something about it.
And happy you could join us. We've got 2 quarters left to go in regulation. Seattle trails by 10. And now let's check out the lineups courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go for the second half of basketball. On the court for Seattle. Speedy out there with Young. Then it's White. Then it's Junior. And it's Smith in at the 3. Now here's Simmons. 14 points for him. And Lopez gets it to go.
But more and more you see big men working on the outside shot, and this guy has one of the better ones in the league.
It's White on the wing. Smith outside. Some nice ball movement here by Seattle. Knight kicks to White. 4 on the shot clock. On deep three-point range. And Lee pulls it down. Washington leading now by 13. Doubled by Smith. For 3, Ross. And again, Washington with the triple.
Having a lot of trouble stopping the three-point shot.
And so Young will bring it up for Seattle. Pass to White. And here is Knight. And the call on the shot sends him to the line.
Nice work to get it inside and draw the contact.
For Seattle, they have gone 5 of 7 from the free throw line of the game. And that one falls for Knight. Lopez is checked in for Junior. Knight hits them both. Washington leading now by 14. 90 seconds now into the second half. Nailed from three-point land. That's now 17 points for Krabs. Smith outside. Young outside. Back to Smith. Over in the corner. White. The tray. Ross grabs the board.
And the great shooters know when they've got enough opening to go for the three. I didn't think it was a bad choice on that possession.
And the dunk by Lopez.
And the passer floated it up to the precise spot it needed to be.
And no messing around on the finish. He powers it through. Seattle calls timeout. And since last season, Doris, a lot of coaching changes. Why do you think so many?
Kevin, I think there's a lot of contributing factors. Some of it is ownership and front office changes. Whenever that happens, coaching changes are often the next shoe to drop.
He's checked in for Seattle. Big Red comes in for 9. And a switcher also for Washington. Flash is checked in for Lopez. And there's the pass to Wagner. Kicks it to Carter. To the inside. And it's Smith finishing it off.
Well, Ash, this guy cooking on the offensive end, but right now the other guys on his team have got to step forward.
Ross on the wing. A three-pointer off the mark. Seattle trails by 17. Pass to Smith. Just over 2.5 minutes gone by here in the second half. Ross grabs the board. For Washington, they've gotten 4 of the first 5 second-half shots to fall. 80% since the break. It's up a 3. That one is good. He's only missed 1 shot of his 6 taken on the floor.
And they're getting their points now almost exclusively from the triple. 4 of their last 5 makes are from beyond the arc.
Now, here is Young. 5 points in the game so far.
Ooh, that's an old-fashioned rim round.
Just a remarkable jump. These fans' jaws are on the ground right now. Here's Lee. It's an 18-point lead. Off target with this 3. Young against Lee. From deep. It falls for his 5th field goal of the night. Shooting 5 for 8.
And he's really shot the ball well, but it hasn't been contained.
He has a chance now to catch up with the 4th member of our crew, Hall of Famer David Alder.
Hey, Kevin, it's a misnomer that in the era of three-point shooting, people don't want anyone to take mid-range shots. Many of the league's elite players still thrive there. Why Leonard is one, he explained how. He said it's hard to defend guys that shoot twos. Once you get to the playoffs, it becomes a half-court game. Teams won't allow you to take wide-open shots or threes. Guys, back to you.
D.A., thank you. And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Young.
No clue where that pass was going. That is a brutal turn.
Both teams deciding to change it up. And a chance there to look back at the stunning mobile 1 block a moment ago.
Man, he's all over that shot. Has it read the whole way and gets the position he needs to make a play.
Washington leading now by 17. Washington calls timeout.
And he could tell his guys starting to wear down a little bit. Call time to just let them get their legs back on.
Seattle making a change here. Mike's checked in. You better keep your hands up if you're going to play with these guys over the past month, because if you're open, they'll find you. Look at Simmons, currently 5th in the league in assists. Such court vision.
Really been in sync with his teammates over that period. I mean, his passing has been phenomenal.
Seattle trails by 17. Some nice ball movement here by Seattle. Passes to White. To the paint. And Carter with the basket on the assist by White. And it's 8 points for Big Cat for Washington. They've gone 6 and 9 from the floor here in the second half. They've got to be happy with that. Lee against Young. And there's the foul. It'll go on Lee. That's his first foul.
And really just a great play to sacrifice his body and take the charge.
Junior's checked in for Washington. And it's Seattle with the ball. 15-point game. On the outside. Pass to Smith for 3. It balls for the 6th time in 7 tries this contest. That's 86%.
You can't just stop when there's a big setup. You gotta fight over it as a defender.
You know exactly what that takes. It takes energy, it takes activity, it takes intensity.
And he's good on the 3 ball. And that's now 24 points for Cooley. Now the pass to White. Lee against Young. Cross contact on the shot. And now a 3-point break chance as he'll hit the line.
And obviously his momentum from the last game has carried over here tonight.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing every player is searching for. Consistency. They're giving this guy a chance to carry the offense once again.
Washington leading now by 12. Jacobs the pass to Lopez. Here's Wesson. And again, Washington with the triple.
And they have been relentless from deep. And you see the defense trying to react, but to no avail.
Well, that's the whole point, isn't it? If you space the floor well enough, it's almost impossible for the defense to account for everyone.
Here's Carter. Following the 3-pointer by Washington. Over in the corner. White. And he can't answer back. The 3-pointer offline. For Washington, they've got 8 of their 11 shots to drop since the break. A great third quarter for them offensively. Jacobs the pass to Lopez. Shoots from the high post. And Washington again with the bucket.
I love the efficiency he's playing with tonight. Not scoring as much as usual, but he's been effective and they're winning.
Pass to Smith. Jacks up a 3. Back to him. Coming up the assist from Young. Young's got his 6th assist on the night.
He's hit 4 now from behind the arc, 2 in each half, making an impact.
Here's Jacobs. And again, Washington with the triple.
And an eye for an eye. Both teams working to stretch the floor.
Well, that 3-point shot just gives you so much room to operate on the offensive end.
Now here's Carter. 8 points for him. Back to White. Smith outside. 6 to shoot. Passes it to White. Sinks the triple. Washington leading now by 14. Pass to Hawkins. There's a screen. Knocked away. It's stolen by Carter. And here's Young. Carter on the wing. On outside. Smith on the wing. Back to Young. Pocket four. Carter kicks to White. Here's Wagner. All three off the mark. Lopez passes to Jacobs. Over Wagner. That's one off the back of the net. And so it's Washington sitting with a comfortable lead up by 14. And we'll see if they can keep up their tremendous shooting they've been dialed in so far from the field. We've got more in store for you right after this. In a moment now, as we take a look at our State Farm assists of the game.
Yeah, an easy choice tonight. Look at the precision on this pass. Put it on a platter.
And when you're the beneficiary of a pass that good, you better deliver. And he did just that.
And there have been two very different performances from these teams today as we get going in quarter number 4. So on the floor for Washington, they've got Simmons. Mr. Fundamentals is out there with Maverick. That's Cool Hands. That's Flash in at the pivot spot, manning the middle.
And the definition of teamwork right there on that alley-oop.
And Greg, what about the finish? Bringing it down with some thunder. Yeah. Now, here is Young. Steps back and trains the jump shot. Young's got 19 points.
Just doing what he can. He's competing and he's converting.
And he has really kept them in this one with a high effort level. Now the rest of the team has got to step up.
Smith against Ross. And they call the foul, so he's got the and one chance here to make it a 3-point play.
And so far, going for more of an inside presence here in the second half, getting away from the three-point shot.
And a look now at how the offensive approach has been going here so far for Washington.
What a tremendous showing from the three-pointer all through this game.
Yeah, something else that stands out tonight is how many assists they have.
Even though they're down, they are putting on a show as a free throw.
And Simmons has got the ball here for Washington. They led the game 1 point by 20. The pass to Lee. This one for 3. The basket good off the assist from Simmons. Simmons got assist number 8 now on the night. Pass to Crook. Some nice ball movement here by Seattle. For 3, Smith. It's number 9 to fall. He's only taken 2 shots.
That's his 5th triple of the night. 2 in the first half, 3 in this one. Huge production.
Pass to Simmons. Here's the 3. And again, Washington with the triple.
And that's just cold-blooded right there. He's taking no prisoners.
Well, when it's closing time, he's trying to block the door. He's been going all night.
Now, here is Smith. Out to Carter. Lets it go from deep. That shot off. Washington leading now by 14. Simmons with it. And Young picks him up defensively. They get it back. For Seattle, they've gone 3 of 4 on field goal attempts since getting things started here in the fourth. Unloads from 13. And it goes down 2 points. Smith's got 8 here in the quarter.
I tell you, he's making everything he looks at tonight. It should be their number 1 option on every possession.
Washington calls timeout.
And he could tell his guys were dragging a little bit, calling timeout to kind of let them catch their breath.
pass updated from the sideline. Let's swing it over to David Aldridge.
During that break, Kevin, I heard what Scott Brooks said to his team. He talked about the mindset they need to have and what he wants to see the rest of the way. Engagement at both ends and making good decisions with the ball. Guys?
Outside, Simmons. He kicks the lead. And he's going up for the alley-oop.
No hesitation at all on the alley-oop. Saw his teammate with a pass to the hoop, and bang, lobbed it right up there for the finish.
And he was ready for it when he elevated and made the catch. Outside 9. Back to Young. Smith scanning the floor. Shot clock at 5. Right post shot. And another basket for Seattle.
Well, they're not behind because of this guy. He is putting on a tremendous run.
Outside, Simmons. Lee outside. Seattle grabs a miss. Ways to get back into it, but they've got some time.
Tendency can be to really rush or push the game. They need to avoid that.
Now, here's Young. And Young with the stop.
That should give him a nice little jump.
Yeah, it has to. They need a jump here.
Well, sometimes it's about taking it into your own hands. That kind of individual play could spark his move.
White against Lopez. Second shot opportunity. And the shot goes in. And Washington leads by 12.
When you're trying to claw your way back into a game, you cannot allow second chance opportunities.
Well, how about the effort on the glass? Even with this lead, I love that they're still going after it.
Now, here is Young. 9. Wide open. Off the mark and a chance to trim it to single digits. And Lopez has it in the corner. The basket good off the assist from Simmons. Simmons got 9 assists in the game. Great pass for Seattle. They've gone 6 of 8 from the field in the fourth so far. It's been a great start to this final quarter for them. Seattle lost timeout. Lee really making a difference here.
Well, I think this is a necessary timeout so they can figure out a way to limit the impact this guy's having from three-point range. They've got to dedicate more resources to their perimeter D.
Present our New Balance player of the game, Cool Hands.
And guys, he's been about as close to perfection as you can be. The intensity he's played with has been amazing. Just no let up. And as fired up as he's been, he's never let his emotions get out of control.
He silenced this crowd with an unreal display. His ability to drown out the noise and the hostility of an opposing crowd is pretty special. Young dishes the White. Some nice ball movement here by Seattle. Young outside. Just 5 to shoot. Smith kicks to Young. Pass to White. A 3. That's in. Coming off the assist from Young. Young's got assist number 8 here in this one already. Washington leading now by 12. 3. Basket number 8 is all good. He's attempted 12 shots.
He's just stretching them out. The defense has got to do a better job of staying attached to him.
Well, you know this guy was looking for his shot the whole time. You got to know who you're guarding. KYP, know your personnel.
That should give him a nice little jump.
It has to. They need a choke here.
Well, sometimes it's about taking it into your own hands. That kind of individual play can spark his group.
And it's to that. Over Lee. That one's getting a Washington lead is cut down now to just 11 at the bucket from Young.
Offensively, it's been a perfect quarter for him. He hasn't missed a single shot.
And Simmons has got the ball here for Washington. They led the game 1 point by 20. And Lee with the stuff.
Some power coming from the PG.
That's right, GA. Seeing more and more of that these days. Backcourt guys elevate.
We know versatility is huge in this game. Just a tremendous job finishing that play. Wow.
Yeah, easy call.
The first one falls. And Washington making a change. Junior's checked in. And that's good as he hits both of his shots. Simmons with it. Three-pointer. And again, Washington with the triple.
Heavy incoming from beyond the arc, a key part of their initiative this entire fourth quarter.
It feels like they have worked their perimeter game to perfection, swinging the ball, cashing in from the outside. What a performance.
No question, he got bumped on that shot.
Game's over.
He throw good, Smith. Smith hits them both. A minute 50 left here in the fourth quarter. Washington leading now by 12.
Young's got takeover.
Seattle shooting a superb 63% from the field. Smith in the post. He's guarded by Ross. Nice shot by Smith.
Boy, the defense was in perfect position.
10-point game. Jordan Smith having a good game, good season so far.
Simmons feeling it out a bit. And he uses the glass.
Aaron Simmons.
Simmons got 14 points here in the second half.
28 tonight.
Not much resistance.
You look at the
It
superstars.
takes incredible effort to stay connected to the hip of the offensive player. You've got to want to work.
And it's Smith.
Rebound Lopez.
Washington shooting the lights out in this
That will
one.
probably do it.
68% from the field.
Washington's going to do it. They'll defeat Seattle. And they'll be 5-4 now. 9 games in.
You know, it's tough to put your
What you
finger
got
on
to
the
do,
deciding
though,
factor in
is
this one, but I'd say that the
get
shooting
10-8.
accuracy may
That's
be
18 games. And then 11-8, that's 19. Just enough to make the playoffs, you know.
It'll mark their fourth win.
They've already...
Actually, their fifth win on the year. And what a tremendous standout performance it was for Cool Hands.
What a selfless effort tonight right? He's done such a great job finding guys in their appropriate spots. Well, defenses are content to give up the mid-range, right? It's not the high percentage restricted area or the three. You can see they're prepared to give up that shot.
Here's Ross on the pass to Lee. Simmons, a screen on Young. Lee drops it in from 14 feet away. Lee's got 33.
Spirited performance. You love to get this kind of win, especially on the road.
You've got to be able to block out all distractions in enemy territory. This team did a tremendous job staying focused on the task at hand.
Clearly a foul.
And he knocks down the first one.
NBA schedule.